Welcome into the sanctuary, my dear ones, into this last Sunday of January and more. 399. That's the basis and the premise of how we use it. And for that to happen, you and I are told that it's very important to create a mental equivalent to the good that we desire, for around it and about it. A mental equivalent. You must conjure it up in your mind like a magician would conjure up a trick. We must see that and picture it and vision it, and when it's all set up in mind in a lovely picture, we're supposed to get up and step into the picture and become part of it, like they did in The Purple Rose of Cairo. If you haven't seen the movie, you can look it up. Jim knows. He'll tell you. You must become one with that. That's to create that sense and sensibility of something is beginning to happen and move in the direction of my realization of it. The wheels are churning once I set up that mental equivalent. Or as Trowards say, create the nucleus, the nucleus, the nucleus. Now, the nucleus in metaphysics is the same thing as the mental equivalent, but you see it as energy gathering, energy gathering, energy gathering. And as soon as that nucleus attracts enough energy, by Jiminy Crickets, there it is. Ernest Holmes also says we must spend a long time in conviction of the good that we desire, knowing it is already so and available to us now. A long time. And understand this once and for all. Science of mind and spirit is not available to us to solve our problems. It's available to us to transform our lives. Now, we may solve our problems on the way to transforming our lives, but solving our problems is not the be-all and the end-all of it. No, it's not. The transformation of our lives is. So, how to use it? Well, when Ernest Holmes says spend a long time in conviction, we have the very, very answer to that. It's called spiritual mind treatment. That helps us to stay a long time in conviction. Now, I'll tell you up front, we don't need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 33, 103, 109, 110 steps. We don't. Unless we do. Depends upon our conviction, doesn't it? You may have to do 1,000 steps before you're fully convinced. Anyway, we have 3. Ernest Holmes says the perfect prayer is perfect God, perfect creation, perfect Ernest, enough. Then we have the 5 steps or 7 steps. First step is what? It's just a beautiful meditation, really. It helps us to get convinced of the true essence of what this is. So it's written up out there, God is all there is. On a banner out there in the foyer. I believe we stopped seeing this a long time ago because it's been up there so long. A red thing on the wall. God is all there is. So easy to say. Whole different thing about being convinced about that. Again, we say that because of omnipresence. And I don't know a religion that does not teach omnipresence. That the infinite is omnipresent, everywhere present. And so you spend time thinking about that. Oh my goodness me, you could get caught up in a real deep meditation just on that step alone. God is everywhere present. And even though I may feel at my worst and my most downest and my most baddest and all the rest of it, I can still remind myself that that means God is in me too. But how could God be in me when I was taught as a little child that as soon as I commit sin, the light goes out of my soul? Well, if it did, I'd be annihilated and I'd cease to be, and the world would implode upon itself because the world couldn't exist without me. Tough, that's how it is. But that's what we were taught. Like the Holy Spirit is something you get at an In-N-Out burger place, you know? It's in and out. As long as you're in a state of grace, you're in. As long as you're out of a state of grace, it's nowhere where you are. It's not present near you. But yet we learn in time, and all of us wake up into this in time, that no matter what is going on, no matter what feels like, looks like, and so on, always and never, there's a state within me that is in pristine state, never changes, cannot be diminished, cannot be, it cannot be in any way touched. It's always in its pristine, glorious state, an awesome potential power within me, always, and within every living thing and every human being. No matter what kind of a debauched life somebody may appear to be living, it's as true of them as it would be of a Mother Teresa or a Dalai Lama or whomsoever. When God decides, the infinite life decides, to create, what it creates, it enters into and remains. Remains. Enters into and remains, because the only reason anything was created so that the divine could know itself in that object, person, place, or thing. See, the conviction is important. I have to convince myself of all of this, get myself ready for all of this, before I declare the word for the good that I desire as a practitioner. And let me tell you, we are all practitioners, every single one of us. Every single one of us. For the first step, then, the acknowledgement of that. Right where I am at the center core of my being, the divine is in all its power and glory. And the second step is to identify with it. And because that's the truth, of course I can identify with it. Simple terms, God is all there is. If that's the case, I am where God is. God and I are one. The Father and I are one. He who sees me sees the Father, Philip. And I stay at each step until I'm convinced of each step. And I don't move on before that until I get it. And then the third step would be the declaration, the announcement, the statement, the proclamation. Since God is all there is, and since I'm one with God, of course I have fullness and plenty. I'm a prosperous being. Of course I'm in the ideal relationship. Of course I have vibrant health. Whatever the good is that I desire. Of course I do. That's the third step. And the fourth step is, when I know all of this, I'm so jazzed and giddy with delight that I feel that greatness, that gratitude. And when I feel that greatness and gratitude, I'm absolutely singing for joy and praise and thanksgiving. Of course I am. It's a great feeling. But just in case I have a little bit of a fallback into, oh God, I hope it's so, we go back into stating the truth again. This should be a sixth step. You can put the restatement step anywhere after the first three. Yeah, isn't it great to know this? I know that the power and the presence within me is now moving upon my desire to realize vibrant health, prosperity, loving relationship. Right now, it's beginning to happen. And there's the next step. No thing can get in the way of it. No person, place, or thing can get in the way of it. We call that step denial. So those would be the two extra steps, the reaffirmation of the good that I desire and the denial step. The denial step is simply, and there's nothing can stop or block me from this good. Nothing, no one can stop me or block me from my good. Now, I don't say in the denial step, therefore, this crazy, painful hip is going to stop paining me. Because that's now where your energy is gone, and all of a sudden you're back in pain. You don't. You take your mind off your problem and you put your mind on your good. You never stated the way it is in appearance. In appearance, you stated the way you want it to be always. So God is all there is. There is only God, and I'm one with God. Therefore, I know I'm healthy and well. I know it. I know it. I know it. And there's nothing in me that stops me or blocks me from knowing this. There's nothing around me or about me either that stops me or blocks me from knowing this. So I will say it again. I am in the experience of good, vibrant health. And I'm grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. And I'm announcing this to all of creation and beyond. I'm letting it go out there to be known by all of creation that can support me in this and laud me and applaud me for knowing it. And so it is, the last step. Never forget to release your owning of the truth. Don't keep it all in. Release it, let it out. Let it out, release it. It's important. That release step. This is what we call spiritual mind treatment. And I love the word treatment because the word says you're getting it done. If I go to the chiropractor for a treatment, I'm going to the chiropractor, I know I'm going to feel better as soon as I leave that place. I'm getting it done, I'm handling it, it's working already as soon as I make up my mind. Now, Halliwell, in his book, Working with the Law, he says no idea can enter your mind without the readiness for it to appear, nor can that idea enter your mind without everything lined up for the realization of it. So even before you start, life is on your side. Now, are you going to straight away, having all the time doubted yourself and all of the time bemoaned everything and told yourself how difficult life is and so on, are you straight away going to go in and say this great prayer? And I say, because if you're saying it, you may have to say it a lot before it happens. And think that if you follow those steps, it's going to happen. If I just follow those, this is what I do in the first one, second one, third one. I know, and I know, and I know, and I know, and I know. Well, you're reading something. You've got to feel it here, in the solar plexus. Got to feel it. Got to feel it. It's got to seep into you. Got to saturate. You've got to sit with it. Walk with it, work with it, think with it, whatever it takes for you to get there. And eventually you will. And eventually you're going to become a phenomenal practitioner of science of mind and spirit. You will, if you stick with the program, if you stay with it. Now, when you're in dire need, you're in terrible circumstances and it's all going to hell in a handbasket, whatever. A very good time then is to come to a practitioner. those who are licensed to pray. These people have spent 5 years at very least studying. Not just studying, but working on themselves to be that beautiful channel wherein Spirit's word can be established in and through and by means of you, by creating within you an open receptivity to it. An open receptivity to it. By you believing what you're hearing, by you coming into agreement with what you're hearing, by you feeling the feeling of what you're hearing. It's always a good thing. I have 2 practitioners. And, others here and there along the way when those 2 are not available. And my life is all the richer for that. Do you know yourself it's easier to do something for another than it is to do something for yourself sometimes, or it's easier to take care of somebody else than take care of yourself sometimes. It's kind of like that with practitionership. So we have the tools available to us to flourish and to thrive, and not just to solve our problems, but to transform our lives, which is what this is all about. Transformation wondrous. But it's not going to happen for as long as you and I remain asleep, unconscious, unfocused, thoughtless, mindless. The best way to gain a sense of ourselves is through staying awake as long as you can. I'm not talking about sleep. I'm talking about being present in your life, present to your life. I'm talking about focus. I'm talking about here and now, being here, being now, and being present to whatever is in the here and now, person, place, or thing, or whether you're on your own or not, but just being present to all of that. That's what we're talking about here. Just wakening up and being present. Now, it's easy for some of us to be present to some things better than other things because we like these things better than we like those things. It's easier for us to be present to some people more than it is to others because we like those people, and I'm not so sure about those people. It's the not so sure things that really hone our skills. They're our best of spiritual friends. They really are. They're our greatest teachers. And you're getting it when you're able to do that, when you can give as much time, effort, and energy to anything or anyone in front of you without exception. So, my dear ones, what is it going to be? What is it going to be? Will we wait until next January to hear this stuff all over again and maybe get it next January? Or will we get it here? On the piano, there are some balloons. And the balloons are indicating an idea that has been supported, an idea that has been, we've been present to, an idea that has had all that it needs in order for it to come to fruition, and that would be this one. This one is on its way. We keep coming and going as far as support for this one. This one is a sad case of, I'm on my way out here. I'm on my way out here. I don't think it's going to happen. And then this one here just indicates the possibility of an idea coming into fruition. It's just, there's no energy in it. There's none whatsoever. This is a possible idea, but it hasn't been given any energy yet. But then I can give it energy, can't I? Through the way I think, through the way I feel. And every time I think and feel, it gets a bit more energy attached to it. The nucleus gets stronger and stronger, doesn't it? Okay, the idea is on its way. The idea is on its way. Okay, it needs a little help. It's coming along nicely, doing well. I'm happy. Getting happier. It's getting nearer. Oh my, I think it's going to happen for me this time. This time I think it will happen. It'll materialize. Boy, I think I'm getting it. Oh, slipped. Better reinforce. Okay, I think this is a really good. We're just about to hit the post there, and I think I'm home free. Oh, what's that? What was that over there? Distracted me. Oh. I was almost there. I nearly did it. It was almost mine. But then I took my mind off it. I got distracted with one thing or another. And then where is it? Back to having no energy in it. So I may or may not come back to it. The odds are I probably won't come back to it. If I've come back to it so many times and I haven't seen it through, I may not. But that's what we're talking about, supporting your idea with good thoughts, good feelings, and telling yourself, whether I think it or feel it or believe it, this is happening because something more than I am is working on it. It's not just me. In fact, all I need to do is get out of its way and let it happen. And even if I'm not thinking good thoughts around it, think no negative thoughts around it, at least I'll hold its position until I get back to it and bring it on home. Bring it on home. And that's what you can do. And that's one of the most wonderful ways that we can use this power. And it's available to us. And if you don't know about it, well, get the books again, open them up and read them yet again. Take a class, go to a practitioner, whatever it takes for you to empower yourself, do what it takes. You gotta just do what it takes because you are it already. You don't have to get fully cooked. You're already fully cooked. You just don't know it. You're leaving the pot on the stove and you're walking away from it and forgetting about it. There's a beautiful meal there. So, my dear ones, all I can say is the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it is all within your own good self. Within your own good self. Why? Because you are the thing itself. You are the thing itself. You are the thing itself. You are life in expression by means of Spirit's own desire to know itself by means of you. Now, I don't know any other way to say it. I think I've said it every which way I can possibly say it. And you're going to have to get it your own way. But it doesn't matter what I say. You have to start saying it to yourself, you see? You have to start saying it to yourself. And that way it sinks in and it does become this thing that's ready to take off and be realized in your life. No power in life, and there's only one power, withholds any good thing from you. No good thing is withheld from you. Nothing. And Spirit never, ever, life never wants you to experience any negative thing. No negative thing, far less suffering, sorrow, and sadness. Not on its agenda for you. Not at all. The only thing Spirit wants for you is that you should flourish, that you should thrive, that you should know yourself as you are known in Spirit, by Spirit, and as Spirit. That's all Spirit wants for you. What do you want for yourself? And what are you knowing about yourself? And now, this moment, what are you ready to know about yourself? Is it going to be something that can transform your life? Is it going to be something that's going to transform your life? Is it going to add to your life and the life of everything around you? Or is it going to be deflated? That good thing that you know about yourself, is it going to keep on being deflated all the time by somebody else's negativity that you're allowing into yourself, or your own negativity that you're entertaining? What is it going to be? Transformation wondrous? Or same old, same old? Well, I'll leave you with knowing what I always know. You are a point of power through which the infinite expresses itself in all of its power and radiant magnificence. That's who and what you are, and I'm stating, and so it is.